In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to export models from Maya. Be able to use them in different game engines. In this case, I'm going to be using the model inside of the Unreal Engine. So for that, I'm going to be prepping up the model. Now that I have all of my model completely rigged and animated, I want to go back to a version in which I had no animations whatsoever on my character. Either that, or I select my character and then go to my rigging and go to the bind pose and make sure that I have no keyframes afterwards. Anyways, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be exporting using the FBX exporter, but for modeling purposes. For that, I'm going to have to go to File and then say Game Exporter. If you cannot see this option here, it's likely because the plugin is disabled. So go to Windows, Setting Preferences, and then Plugin Manager. Now with the Plugin Manager, you have to find the Game FBX Exporter. Make sure that it's loaded and auto-loaded, and then just close it. Now I'm gonna have these two guys selected. I'm going to go to File, and I will say Game Exporter. That is going to be bringing this window. In here, I'm gonna go to Model, which is the thing that I want to export. I don't want to export all, I just want to export the selection because an FBX file is going to also contain any reference images or lights or anything you have on your scene. So basically just the Freddy character and the origin. And pretty much all of these settings are fine. You may need to modify this if you were working with different units that the Unreal Engine have, but this model was created with Unreal Engine in account, so all of these are fine. I don't want to embed the media, which means I don't want to start or assign the textures inside of this object, and I will say where I want to save them. So in this case, I'm going to go find my source images. That's where I have all of the texture files. So I'm just gonna say export here, and my model is going to be known as Freddy. I'm also going to have the view and FBX review option enabled. This is not necessary, but it's a really great way of exporting and reviewing the settings. So once I have that exported, Freddy is going to look something like this. So I get to see the character and I get to see all of the joints on the same plane. In some cases it may show you the textures, in some cases it may not, but in my case it didn't. So for now, this is just what I have. Now I want to open a different scene in which I have my animations. So in this case, I'm gonna open the Freddy walk. So this one, I'm not gonna save my scene because I didn't really do any changes. Now over here, my walk cycle goes from 0 to 28. So I'm gonna go back to 1. And now in my game exporter, I don't wanna be in model, I wanna be in model clips. In here, I don't want to export everything. The only thing that I want to export is the origin because I already have the information about the mesh in the other file. If your game engine doesn't support the import like this, you can select the two of them and then export them like that. Now I'm doing this for the Unreal Engine, so I know that this is fine. So I'm just going to hit origin, and that is going to be this joint down here. I'm going to say this is going to be the walk cycle, and my animation is going to go from 1 to 28. Now that I know that that is the animations settings, I also don't want to embed media, especially because this is only going to contain the skeleton. I want to review these in my FBX review, and I will be saving these also on my started images. That way I have everything into a single folder that I can just share down the road. So with that, I'm gonna hit export. That should open the FBX review, which it did. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like on the joint side. So over here, it's just basically going to tell me with lines, how are my joints located? So that is basically my character, and I have to do that for every single one of the animations that I have enabled or have created. In this case, I'm also gonna do that with the run, just to show you once again how this process is created. The run cycle is a little bit shorter. This is only 17 frames. So I'm going to go back down to 1. I'm going to select just the origin. When I select the origin, everything that is parented to it is going to come with it. So that run 1 to 17. Don't want to embed the media, and I want to export these not on scenes but on my source images. I'm going to hit choose, and I'm going to hit export. So when I have that, that is going to also bring my FBX review window, and I'm going to frame this as geometry, forget about that fact. So here I'm just gonna hit play, and that is going to be playing my animation once again. So I'm gonna stop that, and that is basically how you're gonna end up exporting your animations. Now if everything went right, what you're gonna end up having is something like this. Over here in my source images, I have the FBX files that I can just double click and open once again. That is going to be my Freddy with all the individual textures, my Freddy run, which is really just my skeleton running, and so forth. I have previously exported these other versions, so I have my run, my walk, my jump, and my idle, and all of them are separated like that. The great advantage of having them in the folder that I mentioned a second ago, which is going to be the images, is that when I do that, I can basically just zip up this folder and I'm done. I will be importing this into Unreal Engine in a different video, but everything is set up for now. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.